Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Flourish 101. We're back after a very short break during a few weeks after Pride Month. And welcome to Flourish 101. For those who have not been here before, I am your host, Clea Torres, and a Love Yourself and Flourish Circle volunteer, an HIV awareness and LGBTQIA rights and mental health advocate. And for those who are watching right now, we are live streaming uh, to our Facebook pages at Love Yourself and Flourish Circle and our YouTube channel at Love Yourself TV. So, to viewers who watched us before, welcome back. We are delighted that all of you are tuning in to this Flourish 101 section for today. And for those who have just been here who are here for the first time, Flourish 101 is a series that aims to create safe, affirming, and supportive spaces, especially through online platforms. So, and what we're trying to do is really create venues and resources for people to educate themselves and really find insight about how to be well, to find healing, and to really process life and the different stressors that we all encounter, especially now during this pandemic and whatever's happening in the world. Flourish 101 is here to help all of us. So if you feel that this is something that you find helpful to you, and I would highly encourage everyone to like, comment, subscribe, share this link to other people so that they can learn as well. For today, for Flourish 101, we are going to be talking about the 8 dimensions of wellness. And this framework of looking at wellness was designed and created by the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Association. We're very glad that they agreed for us to use this framework for the series that we're having for Flourish 101. So for today, this is the first in a series of episodes for Flourish 101, where we will be really talking about what it means to be well, what are the dimensions or the elements of that wellness. And today we're going to look at the general picture. We will talk about what wellness is, what are the essentials of wellness, how do we create balance in our everyday lives, and how do we embrace support from others. And our guest speaker today is Niel Steve Kintanar. He has been teaching positive psychology at the graduate and undergraduate psychology program at the University of San Carlos, Cebu City, Philippines since 2011. So we're very glad to have him all the way from Cebu. He is a registered psychologist and he uses positive interventions with his clients in therapy. And he was head coach of a Lead Excellence Achievement Program Batch 5 in Cebu with the theme Flourish. So we're very honored to have all the way from Cebu, Niel. Hi, Niel.
Hi.
Hi, welcome. So we are very honored and very glad to have you for today.
I'm very excited. Finally, I get to share my what I'm passionate about and with you guys. No, with Love Yourself.
Yes, yes. And what really excites me for today is that you're going to take us in depth on this 8 essentials of wellness. Because I will admit, when I was reading about this is the first time I'm hearing of this framework.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I think what I want to do is I want to like give the floor to you for a few minutes so that you can introduce this framework to all of us, to me and the viewers.
Right. Okay. So, but before that, no, I would just like to ask how we are. So, let's see if this happens there. Okay. So I'm putting on my slides now. Okay. So first, we psychologists, diba, we love asking questions.
Yes.
So we don't read minds. We ask good questions. So my first question is, kamusta po ang ating puso ngayon?
Oh my God.
From 0 to 10. No? Kapag 0, basag, nawasak yung ating puso. So, broken, damaged, malfunctioning. If you are a 2, malumbay, a little bit down, disheartened, depressed, but not necessarily the disorder depressed, miserable. 4, malungkot, no? Unhappy, or even worried. 6 is masayahin. Okay? Happy, joyful. 8 is matatag pa rin or gumiginhawa pa rin. Okay? And then, we call it malambuon, yumayabong, flourishing. So, where are you right now? Okay? If I may ask Clea, so where are you right now?
Right now, can I just say first off, I love the word malambuon. It's a beautiful word. But to be honest, ako right now, I think I'm between a 6 and an 8, maybe a 7.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, what in your life makes it a 6 right now?
I think just the physical distancing that I'm having from many of my support, the people I love,
Mm-hmm.
and that hugging, because I think my language of really showing affection is physical touch and
Right.
quality time. That's not present during this period.
Right. So
So
if that would be present, it would be an 8.
or maybe a 9 even.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So 6 or 8.
Okay.
7. I'm a 7, right?
You're a 7. Yeah. Yeah. I also think that I am a 7 right now. No. As you've known, Cebu City is still under enhanced community quarantine.
Right.
So there's an increase of COVID positive people, and then our hospitals are actually what do you call it? They're actually full, right? The beds, the ICU. So it's not really safe to go out right now.
Yeah.
Okay? And then, of course, my autonomy is also curtailed, right? I cannot move right away. I have to have a barangay pass, which I
Correct.
don't have right now. So, because of that, my movement is curtailed. So, um, that sense of safety, that sense of security and autonomy brings it down to maybe a 7. Okay? But what keeps me staying is that, of course, I get to spend time with my family. Okay? I still get to work, but I'm working at home.
Right.
And then maybe that sense of optimism and hope about the future. Okay? So I get to do my hobbies right now. I get to exercise. So that's what keeping me afloat.
Right. So it's the family, the work,
Right? Work.
and physical and the physical
Yeah, the
fitness.
physical fitness and doing the hobbies.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And then yeah, and there might be viewers right now. Where are you in this scale? Are you from 0 or are you a 10? Okay. And if you are, for example, a 2 right now, it's perfectly understandable because we are in a pandemic, right? If you're experiencing a little bit of anxiety or depression, anxieties that you're fearful about the future, that's okay. Because really, the future is uncertain right now. Okay? If you are depressed because your plans did not push through or you were cut off from work, okay, that is really a valid emotion to feel right now. Okay? So whatever space you have right now, okay, these abnormal reactions are normal reactions to an abnormal situation.
Oh, I love that.
Right,
Please,
right.
whatever you are experiencing, even if it's a depressed, disheartened mood, that right now is a normal reaction to an abnormal situation.
Right, right. And there's even this one psychologist that's saying that the world is in grief. So we are experiencing grief. And I must admit, on my first month of being ECQ last March, was it March or April? I wasn't productive at all. Okay, but I had to experience that. I have to experience the sadness, the anxiety, the anger. No?
Yeah.
The anger that I'm angry at a lot of things, maybe about the government, about China.
Yes.
and that's normal. And then the bargaining, that bargaining when we say, sige, I will stay at home, no?
Mm.
Maybe after 1 week, makakalabas na rin ako, ganyan. That's the bargaining eh. And before I had to experience that, and then also unti-unti may little bit of acceptance, no?
Mm.
May a little bit of acceptance.
So,
So we go dati, hindi lang to isang level, no, of up, and it's really an up and down, right? Every 15th, we think that, oh, ano naman kaya ang ano, ang status namin, GCQ na ba kami or ECQ pa rin? So that hope, and then sabihin, oh, ECQ, babagsak na naman ako, and then, oh, sige, a little bit of acceptance na naman the next day, that another week, another 15 days.
mm.
So that's how I cope.
So you're noticing that grief is a cycle, and
Right.
that you're moving through the different stages as you are going through ECQ, as
Right.
you're dealing with the pandemic. And it's really about grief. We are grieving so many things,
Yes,
lost
yeah.
jobs, opportunities, vacation plans, um, I guess seeing your friends, grieving the time that you used to have, the freedom.
Mm-hmm.
All of that is what is keeping us in this cycle of grief, and which makes whatever we're dealing with, if it's a disheartened state, a normal state to have given our situation.
Right. No?
Okay.
It may take months. It may take months. The difficult thing lang about the pandemic is that we are currently experiencing it, and it's long term. Okay. Unlike if it's a typhoon, it's just 1 or 2 days.
Yeah.
Then we move on, right? For an earthquake, 1 day, few minutes, and then of course may mga minor earthquakes pa din yan, but after that we move on. We learn how to cope and we become resilient.
Yeah.
COVID, on the other hand, we don't know when this will end, right? So it's difficult also to count the days. In psychology, we'd say that, it's a PTSD or it's an anxiety disorder when it's more than 6 months.
Yes.
You have a depression if you're more than 6 months already, if you're experiencing this one. So it's difficult to count where it started because it's recurring.
Yeah.
Okay? So let's just live at the moment at least. Okay? So thank you for that. That was I didn't expect that we will discuss that now though. But
Yeah.
so similar question though. Kamusta po ang kabuuan ng ating buhay ngayon? No? Ang difference naman nito, you look at the entirety of your life. Okay? Maybe from childhood, adolescent, growing up, and then, when you're an adult, okay, until now. No? If you look at the totality of your life, okay, and also the different dimensions of your life, right? For example, physical, your relationship, your finances, your work life, ano kaya ang score natin, no? From 0 to 10.
Right.
Okay?
So this is taking into account everything that is our journey and
Right.
everything that we've done. Okay. For me, 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8.
That's
Yes, Neil.
Okay. So, ako naman, an 8 to a 9, no? What will make it 10 for me? I still have the dreams of getting my PhD, and maybe after that I'll be a 10. No, it's just important for me right now in my life. I feel that I have to do that. That's my next step. Okay.
Right,
So,
right.
what will make it a 10 for you?
I think what will make it a 10 for me is if for me, I don't know. I think a lot of my hesitation to make it a 10 is the idea that I feel that there's always room to grow,
Correct.
and that the journey is never ending up until I leave this world. So I don't know about the idea of ever feeling truly satisfied with whatever I have. And I don't know
Mhm.
if that's a bad thing or a good thing. But I think that's why I set it at an 8 because I'm steady, I'm grounded, I'm good, but I know that there's a long journey ahead of me.
Right.
So
Okay.
maybe to make it yeah, so maybe that's my the way I'm looking at it.
I will accept that, and that's okay. That's perfectly okay to feel that way. That you
Mm,
enjoy more of the journey,
yes.
right, than reaching the end goal of the 10.
Right, right. And I think there's a bit of like hesitation to flourishing because I know flourishing um is like contentment given that everything you've wanted is already within reach,
Mm.
right? And it's already something that you've planted and it's growing in your life and you're just there to enjoy it. And I feel like not there yet.
Right.
Getting there, but not
So
there.
it's interesting that you really brought up the word flourishing.
Hmm.
So, what is really flourishing? So, flourishing in psychology right now, we call it the optimal state of mental health.
Oh,
Okay. So, um, earlier off camera, we were talking about Maslow, right?
yes.
And how Maslow had this triangle, and you have to go a certain step to reach that self actualization, right? This is a modification of that. The problem with Maslow's theory is that self actualization is actually for people like sino nga yung mga examples nila doon? Um, this nun saint, I forgot her name.
Right, right. So it's a saint who is a nun,
Right, right.
and, and she's the example of self
Yeah,
actualization.
from India.
Mother Teresa.
Yeah, Mother Teresa. Yeah. So parang ang hirap abutin, no, ng normal being ang flourishing.
Right,
Okay?
right.
Right. So for positive psychologists, binaba nila yan, no? So sabi nila that you are in good mental health
Hmm.
if you're a person who can does you have goals and you can achieve it.
Yeah.
Your executive functions are well. You can make good decisions. You have relationships. You can maintain good relationships.
Hmm.
Ang Freud pa lang sinabi na yan, work and love are two important things.
Hmm.
So
Really?
yeah, check na yan dapat. Okay.
Hmm.
Third, you are a contributing member to the community, a positive contributing member to the community.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Fourth, you frequently experience good emotions. Okay,
And
positive emotions like happiness.
hmm,
Okay? Mas marami pa compared to the negative emotions. Okay? We're not saying zero negative emotions, which is not true. We can never have zero negative emotions,
yes,
but
that's
more positive emotions.
right. Okay.
Plus, contributing member to the, you are able to cope with stress.
Hmm. So, and what are the ways that they, when you say cope with stress, what do you mean by that?
You're able to bounce back. You are resilient. Okay,
Resilient.
you have the capacity, you have the psychological capital to,
Hmm.
if there's a disaster or you're brokenhearted, you can move to that space.
Yeah.
Okay? Instead of spiraling down to depression or to mental illnesses.
Right. So when something brings you down, don't stay down. You get back up. That's
Yes,
resilience.
you can bounce back.
Okay.
So that is a very important criterion, no, for flourishing.
Hmm.
Okay?
Now,
So if you look at those criteria, pwede pala ako maging flourish, no? Pwede
right.
tayo maging flourishing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When you ask about you have goals and that you can reach them, that's
right?
self-efficacy. You're confident in your capacity to take action.
Right. Correct.
Right. So check. You have relationships that you've maintained and that they're quite healthy.
Right. But
Right.
not necessarily romantic, okay?
Okay, yes, yes. Not
So,
romantic.
the friends, students, or peers within your workplace.
Yeah, and it could even be family members that you get along with.
Right, right.
Um, you mentioned something about you
Positive emotions.
positive emotions, that there is a bigger frequency, higher frequency of positive emotions versus negative emotions.
Right.
And you mentioned, what was the fourth one?
The fourth one was contributing member to the society.
Right. And I think, yeah, but I think when I think about our advocacies as members
Right, right,
of Love Yourself, that is a check for us.
right. It
Right,
is.
just from that.
Okay. And then last one is the capability to bounce back.
Resilience, right. So if you framed it this way, I would probably give myself maybe an 8.5,
Right. Okay.
slightly higher.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, that's good, no? So,
Yeah.
let's move on. Now, usually kasi, yung thinking natin of a mental health, it is one line. Okay? The other side is mental illness, and then the other side is with mental illness yung one side, no? And low mental illness yung other side. Okay?
Right.
When we see flourishing, then a flourishing is a state of low mental illness but high mental health.
Oh.
What does that mean? So you do not suffer from depression or anxiety or any personality disorders. You don't have a disorder, but you have the capacity to, you have those 5 qualities that we mentioned about earlier. Okay? You can do that. So
Yeah.
we call that flourishing. But there are some people who are struggling. Okay? They suffer from mental illness. They're bipolar. They're diagnosed anxiety, or they are diagnosed a personality disorder. But they have those mental health factors, like, they can still work because they're regularly taking their medication.
Right.
They have support from the family and support of a lover.
Yeah.
Or partner. So, they're still there. Okay? So, nandun yung mga factors. Okay? Kaya sila tinatawag na struggling. Right? Now, floundering, on the other hand, are people who are, they have a mental illness, but they also have poor mental health factors. Absent yung mga mental health factors. Okay? The idea kasi dito, sorry, I forgot to mention this, is that hindi ibig sabihin na we're not mentally sick, we're already mentally healthy.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, floundering, like for example, I had a client, okay, before he was floundering, it seems that he really had a personality problem, a personality disorder, like a narcissistic. He would not ask for help. He would always push other people away, specifically family. Okay? And then, so meron na siyang mga mental illnesses, no? So, and then he got diagnosed with HIV. Okay?
Oh.
When the family knows about it, what happens? They pushed him away further. Okay? He got fired from work, not because of HIV, but because he stole a chocolate from a convenience store sa baba ng company nila. Nakita ng video. So, syempre, with the ID pa. So, ayan, natanggal siya ng work. Okay? So, and then because of that, yung anxiety niya, no? Lalong nagiging salient, no? So, ayan, he was really floundering. Okay?
So, low mental health, meaning low resources in terms of how to take care of himself.
Yes.
High level of a mental illness.
Right. So,
Right.
floundering sila.
That's floundering.
Right. Pero marami ding mga akong kilala na languishing. Yung languishing, wala silang depression. Wala silang anxiety. But they feel empty. They feel hollow. So parang, may kulang May kulang sa life ko. It could be about relationships. It could be about goals and getting them. Okay?
Yeah.
or that sense of meaning or purpose. Wala eh, because what they're doing is not what they want and what they like and love.
Mm.
So languishing sila.
Yeah. So I'm looking at this and I'm realizing that just because someone is not perhaps having a diagnosable mental disorder, it does not necessarily mean that they are categorized under flourishing.
Right. Right.
Mm.
So marami actually mga languishing, and then when I do see clients, they present that, I'm depressed.
Yeah.
But when I talk to them, no, it's not depression, it's languishing. And importante kasi to for coaches or for psychologists, for mental health workers, to identify if mental illness ba talaga or languishing lang. Because if it's really may mental illness, then we have to deal with that. May psychotherapy, may counseling, right?
Yes.
But kapag languishing lang, coaching ang kailangan. You'll just identify goals and work on it.
Yeah.
Diba?
So this distinction is quite important, especially with the work you do in counseling.
Right.
That it helps you. Yes. Yes.
And a lot of people are actually in the category of languishing compared to people who are in the mental illness. Konti lang naman talaga yung mental illness eh.
Right. So when people say I feel, for most people, many times when they go to counseling and they talk about intense sadness or emptiness or lack of purpose, that's more about languishing rather than struggling.
Right. Okay. But of course, we need to look at it in different aspects of their life talaga.
Yes.
Which is, we will move on to what we call the 8 dimensions of wellness. No?
Right. I have one Niel, before we move on, I just have one question that I think is appropriate for this slide. Jess Benito is asking, how likely is it for people who have mental illness or disorder to achieve the flourishing state? If it's possible, how?
Okay. Some schools of psychology would say that mental illnesses is not curable, but it's only treatable.
All right.
Right? So I would say that it really depends on a subjective experience of that person. If I ask you, rate from 1 to 10, and you would say that, right now, I am really flourishing, okay? Because na-manage ko yung aking mental illnesses, yung mga negative belief systems, no? Yeah. Then I will believe you that you are really flourishing. Okay? So, you can be flourishing today, but not tomorrow, not the next month.
Yeah.
Okay? It's because, yun nga eh, diba? One key criterion is the ability to bounce back when there's a negative experience.
Correct.
So we don't know, a year from now, there will be another negative experience.
Yeah. So moment by moment self-rating.
Right.
And looking at the entire story, that have you bounced back when things have really not gone your way?
Right.
When you stumbled. That I think you can kind of define that journey as a flourishing journey, even though there are struggles.
Right.
As long as you bounce back from it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And finding meaning and purpose is one important thing. And meaning, that sense of meaning is actually looking back at your narrative.
Oh.
So that's very interesting, diba? When you look back at your life, and then you say, I've lived my purpose. Even if you were struggling,
yes,
then you are flourishing.
Yeah. You know what came to mind, Niel? How many people who've struggled in their life are inspirations to other people because of the resilience they've been able to use to overcome those struggles.
Right.
I can't think of an inspiring person who sailed through life just coming from one success and happy experience to another. I can't think of one right now.
Oh, but there are a lot.
Yeah. No, but what I mean is people have become inspirations because of how they've overcome their struggles.
Yes.
Not so much about how they've had just one success after another and it's been an unending continuous cycle of beautiful, flourishing existence.
So in the end, it's really up to you, right?
Mm,
It's really up to the person to say that, hey, I am flourishing right now.
yeah, yeah, and that's valid. That's
Yeah.
going to be honored. All right.
Okay? So, ako very, ano, di ba, very counseling yung aking approach eh. I,
Yes.
I journey with you. Okay, so ano naman itong eight dimensions, no?
Mm.
And these 8 dimensions of wellness, this was created by, you've mentioned this earlier, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administrations. So they used this model to look at the wellness component of each person. Okay, so I like this one also. So um, usually it's the picture there. It's a circle. It's a they are independent, meaning each dimension is independent. They have their own meaning, its own functions,
Mhm.
but they are interdependent. Okay, with each other. Okay, so meaning interdependent, they affect one another. So, for example, now quarantine period. No? Quarantine period, lockdown. You cannot go out, right?
Yeah.
So that sense of autonomy. So the environment is not safe because of the virus. Okay, maybe when you go out, you baka mahuli ka, no? So yun yung fear ko eh. Hindi ako mas fearful sa virus, mas fearful ako mahuli ako tapos ma-abuse ako sa power of, no? Hanapan ako ng mali. Alam mo yun? So
Mm.
mas fearful ako doon. So parang hindi na lang ako lalabas. So
Correct.
for some, because of what's happening right now, they cannot work, right?
Yes.
Or they
Yeah.
work from home. And work from home is not actually easy as some people would think, right? So that and then kapag walang work, may money problems,
Yeah.
right? So yung mag-isip sa, uy, may utang pa ako, may babayaran pa ako. So it gives them anxiety,
Mm.
right? So
Yeah.
that anxiety will so part yun emotional. So that anxiety would lead to physical sickness. Studies have shown that diba, sometimes it can be psychosomatic,
Correct. Correct.
right?
I when there is stress, there is more cortisol, right, in the body,
Right?
stress hormone, and when that is increased, usually there and it's kept at an elevated level, there are physiological changes.
Right.
So it does negatively affect physical health when there is emotional anxiety and negative emotions.
Right, right. And then when all of these things are happening, you would ask, what is the purpose of all these things? No, wala akong job. Ano kayang purpose ko? You will
Mm.
try to question yourself on your meaning and your purpose of existence.
Right. So you're talking about, you just mentioned how all of these aspects, these dimensions, are all interlinked, even if they are independent.
Right. So they affect one another. Okay. So yeah. So let's just look at it. I created it this way so that you would see also the that the first one, the physical,
Yeah.
intellectual, emotional, and spiritual, they're more internal resources,
Yes.
and then environmental, financial, social, and then occupational, they're more of external resources. Okay?
I actually like the way that you set this up because it looks at health as something that also comes from where you are in your environment, but
Right.
also how you take care of the body that you own.
Right, right. So kapag if you're looking at it vertically, the
Yeah.
physical and the environmental, okay, is in the health component, okay, and then intellectual, financial, okay, is the wealth component,
Mhm.
and then emotional, social is the one that gives you happiness, okay,
Right.
the one that gives you harmony or balance and sense of purpose would be your spiritual, and then the occupational.
I like that. This is a wonderful. Okay. I'm interested in like looking at each of these elements or aspects or dimensions of wellness.
Right. So una natin, physical, no? So what have we done? The question there is, what have we done, no? About our body? So this is really the body, the physical body. So when we talk about a physical dimension, we talk really about nutrition, our food. Okay. What type of food do we eat? Do we eat the green ones, the go, glow, and grow? No? Although very elementary, but still that is very important. No?
Correct.
Studies have shown that if we eat too much sweets, our body is less active. So yung vitality natin nagde-decrease. Okay? So that's very important, nutrition.
Okay.
Number two, about physical health, is really about physical activity. Do we engage in exercise, or how much exercise do we engage in? Okay. Health practitioners said that 10,000 steps would be a good measure of physical activity. Wow.
Steps.
Yeah. So if there's more, that would be better. But minimum 10,000 steps daw yan.
That's the minimum.
Right. And then third, sleep. Sleep is very important.
Right.
I have what they call a sleep apnea. Okay. I when I sleep, I have a machine, a CPAP machine that pumps oxygen into my body every night.
Oh.
I know it's not romantic when you have a partner, but I can't. My sleep was better when I was using it already. So sleep apnea is when we stop breathing in the middle of the night. Okay? A lot of Filipinos actually have sleep apnea, but hindi lang nila alam, no? Ito yung mga instances na when they sleep, they snore really loudly, and then biglang maging quiet. Okay? And then a few seconds to a minute, they will choke.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And then tulog naman sila. So sinasabi nila ang sleep apnea daw is a slow death because oxygen is not, when you sleep, supposed to be oxygen will come into your body and heal the body, right?
Yes.
So if walang oxygen nakakapasok, yung mga hindi nakaka-heal yung body. Okay, so that's very important, sleep. And really, I travel with my CPAP machine. I use it even when I nap, okay? Because it makes me feel good and alert. Before, without it, driving lang will make me so sleepy. And that's dangerous, di ba? At the middle of driving, parang matutulog ka. So So now, I can keep up with traffic already.
Right. So this is where you address that aspect of your need to take care of your body and get the rest and recuperation that sleep allows you or gives to you. And it's honoring your own need to have that that you mentioned something about that for the breathing, for oxygen.
CPAP machine, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a sleep test for that, and there are also sleep doctors. So maybe if you think that you have it, you can have your have a sleep test and maybe check your HMO. They might provide it.
Yeah. What I'm hearing, Niel, is that even when we talk about the physical, it's also many. It's like there are 8 dimensions, but within those 8 dimensions, there are more dimensions to whatever those are.
Hindi na specific lang sila, specific how we can improve that dimension.
Okay.
So number 4 will be about drugs. Do we take in drugs? Recreational drugs or drugs that are unsubscribed for us? Yeah. So it can affect our well-being, right?
Right.
And then we also have in the US, medication safety. Do we travel with medicines? Do we take medicines with us every time we go out? Do you know what medicines to take? And then last, yung mga preventive medicines. Like do we take vitamins? Okay. Do we take yung mga example, if you have diabetes, do you take it regularly? If you're HIV positive, do you take your ARVs.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
So yun, that is part of sexual activity nilalagay nila sa physical component.
Mm.
So yun, for those who are active sexually, maybe they can also take in not ARVs, PrEP, right?
Yes.
Right, for gay men, no? So or for men who have sex with men, right? So that is part of the physical health.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So next would be hindi ko alam kung paano. O, sige, ganun na lang pa. Intellectual. So ang intellectual ay yun nga, that personal interest. Okay? Ano yung mindset natin? No? Do you engage in hobbies? Do you read books? Okay?
Mm.
You take education would be another one. Okay? Do you get your master's degree or your PhD degree? Okay? Or do you enroll in some certification courses?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is part of intellectual. And then
I have a question lang before for the intellectual. How come you place that under wealth?
wealth, resources siya. The mind. Resources siya sa mind.
So the wealth is resources of all kinds, and what we're looking at is resources that's internal. Right?
Yes.
All right.
Okay. Really, studies have shown that if the mind is not well, we cannot think well, we cannot make decisions well. Right?
Yes.
For example, kulang tayo sa sleep, which is sa physical. May effect yan sa ating mind. We cannot concentrate, we're not alert, poor decision making.
That's true.
Okay? Studies have shown that kids who are malnourished, which is nasa physical, can affect the intellectual. So, growing up, diba, because they were growing physical nila, malnourished sila, okay? Growing up, they will have a hard time also digesting what they learned in school.
Right.
Right? So, all this information, and ito pa, yung sense of control and discipline. Okay? That's very frontal lobe. Eh.
Correct.
Okay? So, ayan, so wealth yan, yung intellectual component.
Yes. Okay? I agree.
And one last na nakasulat dito, conversations, which is interesting. You engage in meaningful conversations.
Right. And that is interesting. How come that was placed under intellectual wealth or resources?
It's like an intellectual discourse, I guess. Sharing of ideas, learning new ideas.
Wow.
So yun, I think kaya siya bakit nilagay doon, no? Conversation.
Yeah. So it is meaningful conversations that allow people to expand the horizons of their own perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would add even traveling can be part there, no? Because in traveling, your mind, seeing other cultures, talagang no?
That's
true. Diba?
So it becomes a way of learning when you are expanding and moving beyond your usual place.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Your usual habits, your culture, okay?
Yeah.
The way of living, the way of life. Talagang, wow, meron palang other side. Ganyan, no? So, traveling is important. I think, kasama din yan dyan.
Intellectual resource. Right. Okay.
Right. So, emotional, ito yung mga feelings and emotions natin. So, how frequent do we experience positive emotions? Okay? And is it more compared to negative emotions? So, for me, tinuturuan ko sila ng emotional vocabulary, positive emotions vocabulary. Kasi marami tayong mga words for negative emotions. Eh. Okay? Alam natin gamitin yon, but how about words for positive emotions? Like, baka isipin natin, masaya lang, happiness lang. But there are more nuances like joy. How different is joy from serenity?
Correct.
How different is serenity from interest, from sense of awe, from amusement, yung mga ganyan. So, Um, yun. So, the idea, meron kaming emotional thermometer. So, emotional thermometer is that the numerator is positive emotions divided by the negative emotions. That's the
Nice.
denominator. And the ratio for that one will give you the score of how high you are. So the high, how good is your emotional thermometer? So the higher, the better. Okay?
Yeah.
Better ang well-being. Kasi meron tayong iba, negative, konti lang yung negative emotions, positive emotions, marami ang negative emotions.
Correct.
What happens is that negative din yung score, right? Mababa yung score. Merong iba, maraming positive emotions, pero grabe din sila maka-experience ng negative emotions.
Yeah.
Actually, ako, ganun ako eh. So, what we aspire is that maraming positive emotions, less negative emotions.
Right. So this is a way of viewing our emotions and
Right.
sort of putting them in perspective with all the other emotions that we're having.
Right. Okay.
And we talked about a positive emotion vocabulary as something essential. I'm curious about how come that's something that you feel is helpful for people to have and to utilize.
Okay. Because the question there is, how can we increase positive emotions, di ba? Kailangan
Right.
natin increase yan. So, we need to identify them. And to be able to identify, we need to learn how to spot them and name them.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Um, one practice that I ask my clients to do is gratitude.
Hmm.
Gratitude is receiving something like a gift. Okay? And what if they don't know what gratitude is?
Yeah.
Okay? How can they identify that? Na hala, okay na pala yun, no? It was a little thing, but that makes me grateful. I have a student right now, hirap talaga siya maghanap ng assignment na maghanap ng positive emotions kasi naisip niya na talagang the big things lang ang positive emotions.
Correct.
And then when he saw pictures in Facebook that he was taking good pictures, he was exercising, ko, hey, those are good things about what happened today. Why can you can write that down already? Siya, hala sir, okay na pala yan? Of course. Those are good things that happen to you.
So it seems by giving them a vocabulary, you are helping at least your students or your clients or the people you meet to know what those positive emotions are, to identify them, and then to almost acknowledge their existence.
Right.
Because that gives you a perspective of how much negative emotion you have compared to positive.
Right.
If you're able to name them and to identify them.
Right. So for me, spot, okay, acknowledge, see the event as a positive event.
Right.
Acknowledge, and then what was the second word? Nawala siya. You acknowledge it, you and then eventually amplify it.
Amplify. Right.
So
it makes me think about you mentioned something about how to increase the frequency of those positive emotions.
right.
It's if you don't have a name for that positive emotion, how can you aim to increase it? It's like trying to go somewhere you don't know the directions towards, right?
Yes.
So naming something, even if it's positive, allows you to repeat the actions that led to it. Is that what you mean?
Yes. Perfect. You got it.
Right.
Now, ang last lang yung amplifying. How do I amplify it? I amplify it in storing it through memories, like taking a picture, post it in Facebook. Okay? And the good thing about that, positivity actually infects others also. Ba? If negativity affects other people, if you see negative posts a lot in your Facebook, it affects our well-being also.
Correct.
Okay? Positivity also infects other people. It inspires them also.
So by amplifying, you are in a way helping other people experience or have something, a part of that positive emotion that you are sharing.
Yes, yes. And the good thing about it is that kapag na-amplify, positive emotion actually glues relationship together, glues friendships. No? So, makaka-affect naman yan sa social life na nasa baba. No?
Oo.
Di ba mga negative people, sino lang din sila nakaka-glue? Di ba yung mga negative lang din?
That's true. Yeah. I don't know how real the saying is, but that idea of misery tends to like loves company. That idea that we tend to be around people who are vibrating at a similar frequency. So if the frequency is usually a lot of negative emotions, we tend to be surrounded by people who are perhaps in the same place.
Yes, correct.
All right.
Then, okay. So, yun yung ano natin, no? The tip there is to increase more positive emotions in your life. Mm-hmm. So, gratitude would be one. Savoring, learning how to savor in the moment, live in the moment. Okay? Mm-hmm. And then, be hopeful of the future, anticipated joys. Okay? You plan for the future and then you say, okay, ganito mangyari, ganito gusto ko. Anticipated joys are actually very good. No? Studies have shown that people who go on a travel, okay, and then they plan about their route.
It's almost as if perceiving a future that's going to be good.
Yes.
Helps in creating more emotional well-being.
Right.
And it sounds like a lot like optimism. Is that a similar thing?
It's optimism.
Okay.
Okay. So, and then forgiveness is actually also very important.
Mm.
And when we talk about forgiveness, it's just not taking things personally. It's just letting it go.
Mm-hmm.
May nangyari, our usual reaction is ako talaga bobo, ako talaga tanga.
Yeah.
Mga ganon. It's just, okay, just let it go for now. Meron kang plinano na hindi nagawa. We don't take it things personally. Okay?
Yeah.
So, forgiveness.
Okay. Yes, Neil.
How to maintain well-being about our past. We need to learn how to forgive.
Right. I like forgiveness, to let go, forgiving ourselves and other people.
Right. Okay. So, and then, moving forward, spiritual, okay, I like although tinatawag na spiritual, it does not necessarily mean religious spirituality.
Yeah.
So, I like it's about our beliefs, our values, okay? What beliefs are hindering our well-being? Mm-hmm. What values are hindering our well-being? No? Sometimes that belief system about white and black, that there's no gray area, okay? Sometimes can hinder our well-being. No? Because what if you are a white and then bigla kang nag
moral system or moral beliefs does not destroy and dismantle your goodness as a person.
Correct. I love it. Saying it perfectly.
Oh, thank you. But when you say spiritual, other than beliefs and values, what else does it entail?
But of course, kasama na din yung religious spirituality. No? Really, studies in positive psychology have shown that those who engage more in spiritual activities, like prayer, meditation, their relationship with the higher being, okay, they're more better yung kanilang well-being.
I noticed, Neil, I just remembered how on social media, many of my friends and many Filipinos, I think the world over, many people are um, looking to spirituality as a source of strength
It
in
is.
these uncertain times.
Right, right. But different din yung religiosity and spirituality. So it's based on your relationship with a higher being. Okay?
Yes,
The good thing about that, if you believe in that higher being, you're more humble, you're more, parang, I am not the source, but there's a bigger source than I am. So, and then you're
yeah,
more forgiving also if if bad things happen to us, no?
right, right.
So, so yeah, spirituality. And
Yes, yes.
the third one is actually finding that sense of purpose and meaning.
Mhm.
Okay? So, um, looking back at our life, did we live our purpose?
Right. Okay.
Did we touch other people's lives?
Hmm.
So, yan, dito lumalabas yung sense of volunteering. Okay? That's why earlier off camera we were talking about how happiness or how money can actually money, we're talking about financial, no? How money actually, if you don't have money, it's difficult for you to be happy, no? But it's also a curvilinear relationship. It will come to a point that you have lots of money, but you'll not be happy.
Many of them. Hmm.
Right,
Okay.
right.
I think we're pressed for time, but I would love to go through all of these. We talked about the next one when we go to the second level for external, the environmental.
Okay. So actually ito medyo na ano na nga natin to do na kwento na nga natin to.
Mhm.
Environmental, I gave a lot of examples that we must feel safe and secure on where we live, our neighborhood, no? Kung ang neighborhood natin maraming mga pushers, no? Sa
Right.
no, hirap talaga, no? Hirap to flourish in that
Yes.
neighborhood. So
Mhm.
the environment is actually very important, no? So we might need to change scenery, no? So clean, safe, and secure environment. That is in the home, in the office. Okay? So
Right.
in the home, example, abusive relationships, it's not good. It's not a good environment to be in. Therefore, as much as possible, we have to change that environment.
Right. Right.
Where you go away. So, it's like a plant, di ba? Kapag yung plant, yung soil, hindi ganun kaganda, or walang
Yeah.
sun, di ba? You will never flourish. So, you have to transfer the place. Right? So,
Correct.
whole thing. Okay?
Yeah.
Of course, financial really talks about your money. Are we in debt or not?
Hmm.
Syempre, if you don't have money, you cannot socialize, you cannot buy the things that you want, you cannot move, you cannot travel.
Yeah.
No? So you have to have enough money. Do you have savings okay? And then sense of it ignites your sense of achievement. It's because my skills are actually ignited. I
Hmm.
enjoy it because I problem solve. Okay? This
Right.
is what I'm good at. Okay? A calling ignites your sense of purpose.
Mm.
So,
Okay.
so depende sa'yo on how you view your work. Siyempre, the higher it is, if you view it as a calling, mas better daw yung well-being. Diba?
Right.
Okay. So,
That it gives a sense of purpose.
right.
That's where increases wellness.
Uh-huh. And we talk about work-life balance. Currently, we're talking about work-life integration already.
Mm.
Okay? It's not really a balance. Like, example, 12 hours ka na sa work, 12 hours ka na sa family time. But it's
Yeah.
really of how do you integrate your work and your life together. Parang hindi mo siya kinak-box. Oh, ito lang ha, yung work hindi talaga makakapunta dito sa personal life. Because once it's a calling, hirap na talaga yan eh. Work
Yeah.
is personal.
Correct. And work becomes a source of purpose
Purpose.
that allows your personal life to bloom because you are feeling like you have a reason for being alive and for doing what you're doing.
Correct.
Okay.
And the last, because I'm saving this, relationships or social. No? One positive psychologist said, and one researcher in Harvard, they studied long term, Harvard students from adolescent and then eventually when they were old age, and they said that what is life all about? What is positive psychology all about? What is well-being all about? It's all about other people. It's all about relationships. Okay? And I've asked what makes you happy to my students, to Filipinos. Number one, all the time, family and friends.
Right. So when you say you save this for last, I wonder what that meant for you to save social for the last one.
Because for me, that makes the world go round, love life, personal, relational life.
Yeah.
It makes me happy.
Right.
It gives me a sense of purpose.
Right. I'm hearing all of this, and I read something before, an article about what people talk about when they're about to leave this world, when they're at their deathbed.
Right.
And I read somewhere that most people, or if not all, do not talk about the money they made, or the places they've seen, or the things they've learned. They talk about the people and the loved ones who meant so much to them. Either they left behind or that they're going towards when they're about to pass.
Right. So their biggest regrets usually are that they did not make peace with someone, or their biggest accomplishment was about their children, about their relationships. No? So, importante talaga yan ang relationship. And growing up, there's the saying that family is actually the root of all evil. Okay? But family is also the one who will allow us to flourish.
Right.
One side, you can have mental disorder, or you can be a psychopath because of your experiences of trauma, of your family. Or one side, your family will allow you. They will be the support. They will be the safe space for you to bloom and to flourish.
Right. And when you say family, Niel, in my mind, I remember what RuPaul said about the LGBTQ community, where we as a community tend to have the capacity to choose our families.
We create our own families. Yes. So whatever kind of family, be it blood-related family or more about love family, emotional family, that's good as long as it is positive, as long as it is adaptive. No? So abusive, maladaptive relationship, toxic relationships, that is not what we're talking about. We're talking about positive relationships. So studies have shown that we do live longer when we have positive people around us, when we have positive relationships. Studies have shown that people have positive relationships around them. They suffer less of Alzheimer's when they grow older. Okay? And then they do report that their life was meaningful and happier.
You know, as you were talking about not suffering Alzheimer's, it makes me think about if you are in a romantic partnership or you have someone that lives with you as you're aging, you have someone continually conversing with you.
Well, possible, yeah.
Yeah. So the capacity or the possibilities of having meaningful conversations that increase your intellectual resource is higher when you have a support system.
Yes, yes.
And you do feel safer when you are with people you trust.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps these people even motivate you to stay healthy, to
Yeah,
do what's good for yourself.
right,
And I know many breadwinners of the family. They work and they create job financial security because of the people they love.
right, right.
Right. I
They
have
pull each
yes,
other up, no? They pull each other up.
yes. There's a comment from Lexi Aurelio. He
Sige.
mentioned that on family allowing us to flourish, he's saying that we have different experiences with family, and family is always a relative thing. Um, I guess it touched on what we talked about earlier, how family is defined in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
That it doesn't always mean that the people that the blood family that we're born into is the source of our well-being.
Right, right.
Right.
It must be a loving, safe, secure relationship.
Yeah. And so I remember in school before, one of my professors said, family is not blood. It is the unit of relationships that give your life meaning.
Right. Oh, Hannah. Di ba? Si Lilo.
Yeah, right. So your family can be like Lilo and Stitch, an alien.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And then
There's a
it
comment.
our
Yes.
pets, no?
I'm sorry. What, Neil? I didn't catch that.
It can also include our pets.
Oh
Family.
yeah. Agreed. There's a comment from Melvin Ray Orofeo. Blood is thicker than water, but sanity is thicker than blood. You can always walk away from a toxic family.
Correct. In fact, some psychologists would actually say that you can cut ties with some family members.
Mm,
It's not helpful for your well-being. Okay.
yeah,
Forgiveness does not entail also making the relationship back again.
right, right. So I just before my thought in my mind is sometimes I keep hearing this quote that says for many LGBTQ children, the first people to oppress and really discriminate against them is family.
Right.
So if your family is toxic, will you feel safe? Is your environment with these people a place that allows you to feel environmentally safe? And are they giving you emotional and social support in a way? So if not, then they're actually detrimental to wellness, right?
Right.
Okay. And it's okay to walk away from that.
Yes. Yes.
Now, I think before we end, because I feel like we have so much more to explore. Yung parang we just scratched the surface, and I have so many questions which I know will be saved for future guestings, which I hope that you come back to our show. I have one thing before we go. What is like the final like message or the last final word you want to give people who are watching this?
Okay. Um, every moment is a moment of choice.
Hmm.
Okay? Because we have a choice, always choose love. So
That's
love
beautiful.
there could be you loving yourself,
Yeah.
choosing yourself, choosing your wellness, okay, and love others.
Right. And when you said love, it made me think about how love can be applied to your physical health. You take
Yeah,
care of, you love your body.
yeah,
Love can be about intellectual wealth. You read what you love, what you're passionate about.
correct, correct.
It can also be about the environment. You go to a place that you love, that excites you. Or financial. You love yourself enough to make sure that you have enough resources to take care of your needs.
Right. So
So,
talagang love lang yan. If you have one word, yes,
uh,
love ang word ko. Aside
so
from flourish.
right. So the eight dimensions of wellness are connected.
Yeah. So in
So
fact,
Fred,
the declaration go with love, I flourish.
with love, I flourish. I love that. That's beautiful. So, for everyone who's watching, I just want to say, on behalf of everyone in Flourish Circle and Flourish 101 and Love Yourself, thank you so much,
Thank you
Neil,
so
for
much,
being here
Leah.
tonight. And I also want to give my regards to Love Yourself White House.
Yay! We're
Oh,
fixing
hi.
we're fixing the White House right now. Hopefully, it will be good soon. No? We have
Mm,
they're having a hard time putting it up together because of the ECQ.
right, right.
John has been working really hard.
And we're very grateful that the community of Love Yourself White House is so strong and solid. And for me, my thought is I want to visit you guys soon
So,
when it's okay.
yes, of course, you will be very welcome.
Oh, I
One
love that.
episode of Flourish 101 should be in the White House.
Oh my god. Yes, wait, guys, ha? My proposal. We'll go to White House for a Flourish 101 episode with you. So again, I want to say to everyone who's watching, thank you. And
Thank you.
thank you for staying with us as we spoke about the eight dimensions of wellness. And I will echo what Neil said. Uh, with love, we flourish, right? That's the
Yes.
yeah, with love we flourish. And uh, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time as we discuss each of the different eight dimensions of wellness for a future episode. So thank you. We're very grateful, and we'll see you again.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.